What content should you post on social media to get more clients? And I can tell you, over the last 10 years, the social media, the algorithms, everything's changed, but these have not. The people that voted for educational reels tended to be the actual coaches themselves. Now, I feel people are sick of being told what to do. That you could see the passion in my eyes. If you go back on YouTube and watch my videos from 10 years ago, you can just see I live for the gym, and that's all I care about. And I had to sell this thing called online coaching that no one even knew what it was. I'm going to go to the dark side. I'm going to take this as far as I can. I want to become the best and biggest and strongest bodybuilder that's ever lived. So what makes coaches valuable is still you being human, and it's them having a connection with you. Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about what content should you post on social media to get more clients. Now, I want to be clear, this is for service providers online. So if you are a coach, consultant, service provider, any service business, and you use social media to build an audience to actually convert that into clients eventually, that's the goal you have deep down. You might tell yourself it's just because you like posting content, or whatever you tell yourself. If you want more clients, this is going to be for you. And this is going to finally answer the question of what should you post. Now, the reason I'm making this video is going to address, I think it's going to address people of all levels, to be honest. To give you my background of why I have authority talking about this is, without going viral and building thousands and hundreds of thousands of followers, we built a coaching business, PB Academy, which is a fitness coaching brand, to over 250 plus active clients with a full coaching team delivering the actual service, and a sales system as well, which I was managing and handling. Separate to that, we've also built a physical location gym, a legit business you can touch and feel in person. So different areas of expertise, both in person and online. That's my background. And I can tell you, over the last 10 years, the social media, the algorithms, everything's changed, but these have not, right? The things I'm going to talk about today have not. The principles of why people like you, buy into what you do and trust you is still the very same. It's just, how do we now leverage the tools we have with social media and Instagram? And I'm going to talk about that today. So I haven't just done this with no research either. I've actually gone and polled my audience. I've actually gone out there, put a question to my audience on my story, and asked them to vote. And the question I asked them was, what content do you like and engage with the most, right? And this is really, really interesting. The results are really, really interesting when you look deeper into who voted for what as well. So I'm going to talk about that. And there was 3 multiple choice answers, okay? The first one was educational content. You probably heard it all before, right? I need to do value-driven reels, value-driven content, aka if you do X, so let's say with training, and let's talk about the gym. If you change the way you use the fly machine, you'll get a bigger chest. So if you do X, you will get Y result. This can be in any industry. If you talk about an accountant, right, putting out content saying, if you put these expenses through the business, you can claim this and you will get a better result by paying less tax. Like, it's always about, if you do this, you get the result you want. That's educational content. Basically, change behavior, better outcome, result you actually want. Simple as that. That's results or value-driven content simplified. That was option 1. Option 2 was inspirational stories or a journey, right? And this is interesting. So the reason I put this out there is because I believed before I put this out there to really find out what other people thought as well. I believe that people buy into journeys a lot more. They like to follow the journey of someone. It could be anyone you're following. Let's keep it with bodybuilding and fitness, right? Because probably a lot of you watching this are fitness coaches. If you're following a bodybuilder, what are they always going through? They're always going through a certain phase, whether it's a bulking phase, a cutting phase. The fitness influencers have got like the Ibiza prep coming up, where they need to look sick for the photo on Ocean Beach or whatever, or to make sure they can pull the girls that they want to pull. Whatever it is, they've got that deadline, they've got the goal, they've got a clear vision and a journey and a path to get there, and they document that process. And it's always like, it's never ending, because like, yeah, they hit that goal, then it's the next phase, then it's the next phase, but you feel like you're on that journey with them. And I think people are just, they can easily buy into like a clear journey where it's got an end and it's got a deadline, rather than just following someone where it's like you don't know where it's going, you don't know where it's heading, you don't know why they do what they do, and that why, that word is important as well. So those are the two options, first of all. And then the second one was, doom scroll, entertainment basically. So any sort of entertaining content where you're literally scrolling, just having a laugh. It could be funny dog videos, it could be just light-hearted stuff that's got no real value or relevance apart from making you laugh. So those are the three options, and I'll say the results first of all before I give the explanation. So the results were, off the top of my head, 40% went for value-driven reels. I believe it was 47% went for inspirational story, which may shock you, following someone's journey. And then it was like the whatever was left, like maybe 3% went for like doom scroll content. Like people have voted for that and said that's what they watched the most. I was like, fair play, you're really honest. It's probably more than that, but what I asked was not what do you only watch. It was like what do you watch the most, like what do you engage with the most. So obviously it can be all of them, but I want to see what people engage with the most, or like to think that's what they want the most, whereas it's probably like 60% still doom scroll. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe most people doom scroll at some point in the day. But anyway, to answer the question, right, what should coaches actually post then? When I dived deeper into the data again, so I went through and literally looked at who voted for what. And the thing is, with my audience over the last 10 years, I know this sounds crazy because I've got an audience now of about 15k on Instagram, and I've almost worked with everyone. Like I genuinely have almost worked with everyone that follows me. I know that's a big statement, but the majority of my following are men, and they fit the demographic of what we were targeting as our target audience with our fitness coaching brand. And they've either been part locally with the gym or literal current members of the gym, or they have worked with me at some point, whether they've bought an ebook when I first launched that over literally 2016, now it's over 10 years ago, selling ebooks really cheaply, sending information, free lead magnets, like loads of guys. I've put out over 60 lead magnets over the last 10 years, like legit, basically ebooks for free. And obviously working with us on a one-to-one coaching basis, which is what I would call mid-ticket. It's not high-ticket by any means, but if it's anywhere between £200 to £350 a month, it's like a mid-ticket service. And I've worked with a lot of people by doing that over the last 10 years. So I kind of remembered like who was what in that scenario. I've also got a lot of coaches that follow me. So even though I'm not like highly followed in the industry, I wouldn't say like I haven't got a mega following. But when I swipe up at my stories, almost all the big names that you can think of in the fitness space, especially from the UK, they do follow my account. They might not engage with it all the time, but I see all the big names always watching my stuff. So this is what I found interesting, right? So the people that voted for educational reels tended to be the actual coaches themselves. Okay, and you're probably thinking that I should have asked. If I ask you to comment below, probably no one's going to do it. But if you do, I respect you and thank you for helping me out. What I would ask you is, what do you think? What would you go for? Like, what do you think is the most important to actually get clients? Just answer that below, right? And it'll probably be that answer of educational, value-driven reels because it's what everyone's told you to do. And yes, during 2021, 2022, 2023, when this was still blowing off and really getting a lot of engagement, now I feel people are sick of being told what to do. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I am. But I think people are pretty fed up now of going on and being told what to do all the time, especially in the fitness space. Maybe not the business space because that's fairly new. That's the new stage where like you might be following the Hormozis, the Gary V's, anyone else, Daniel Priestley, who I've met. I think those guys are still really, really interesting and they do it really well. So it's like they've got such a big authority as well that you want to listen, you want to learn. If Richard Branson start making educational content, I think everyone would be like, want to listen to this guy forever. The point is, when I looked at the inspirational stories column option, and I looked at who voted for that, that was the majority of the people that have actually paid to work with me. Those were the people that were actually the clients that you want. So they were selecting inspirational story or following a journey. And then the coaches, the ones more so interested in like the creators, they're posting on social media, they were interested in the educational type content. Okay. And yes, there were some mixes as well, but for the majority, that's what it was. That was really interesting to me. And that is how I thought it would play out as well, because I see all the time, all coaches posting educational content. Like, some people just post it all the time. That's all they post. They don't post about their journey. They don't post about why they do it. And remember I said at the start, the word why is incredibly important. If I'm to look back at my journey and why I believe I was so successful, it was I was so clear about my why. And if I ask you, what is your why? If you can't define it yourself, there's no way that your audience can define it. So you need to be very clear about your why. And my why, starting off as a 16-year-old posting content, posting my fitness journey before it was cool, before anyone had a fitness account, to the point where I literally made it under a fake name because I was scared of what the boys would think, because I was part of a big rugby group and I didn't want to get taken the piss out of, basically. So I made it under a fake name, and I was just so clear about my why. I just had such a passion for the gym. It had changed my life, and I wanted to document the journey because I wanted to get better. I was obsessed with getting stronger whilst also bodybuilding. I wanted to build a physique. I didn't have any ambitions of competing at that point when I was 16, but I loved the gym, and I would just talk about the gym, and you could see the passion in my eyes. If you go back on YouTube and watch my videos from 10 years ago, you can just see I live for the gym, and that's all I care about. And through doing that and documenting my passion for the gym, and I was getting results myself, it was enough for people to DM me, to message me and ask for help. They were asking for training plans, nutrition plans, and that's how I started with ebooks. Like, that's how I started with, like, right, I can just give away this information. Coaching wasn't really a thing when it first started. I was very early to it, to the point where I was literally using email to coach. I was doing email check-ins, and they were sending photos over through email. Like, there was no softwares, nothing like today, where it's just so easy now for anyone to be a coach. And I had to sell this thing called online coaching that no one even knew what it was. So I had to sell what it was before they even knew what it was. So they'd message me saying, I want a training plan, I want a diet plan. And I'd be like, well, I actually think you want results, and this is the best way to get there. So that's when you would educate them on how this works, and then they'd buy into the process. So it was a lot harder to sell. No one knew what it was. Now everyone kind of does know. Like, that are young, they know what coaching is, and they look for coaches. Like, it's a different game now. But my why was so clear. And then I got into actually competing naturally. I'd done a lot of natural competitions. Then I progressed and become even more obsessive. And I was like, right, I'm going to go to the dark side. I'm going to take this as far as I can. I want to become the best and biggest, strongest bodybuilder that's ever lived. Like, I was vocal about that why, because at the time, I meant every word I said. I was dedicated to it completely. I had no ambitions to become like this successful entrepreneur or anything like that. That was in the background. Like, I was still selling stuff online and, you know, making money online. But my main driver was I was just fueled by my own mission to become the best version of myself. And people just followed me for that because they knew that's what they were getting. They were getting that. And yes, now and again, through my YouTube videos and through my content, they would learn from what I was doing. So I would talk about what I was doing, why I trained this way, why I done this specific execution on an exercise to get this result. Like, it was not me going out there to make reels to educate people. It was me talking about why I did what I did for myself and why it works. So the why, it's always the why. It's why this works, why I'm doing it, why I'm passionate about it. And I think people, they loved that journey. I was like a local celebrity, right? I'm not blowing myself up here because I'm not a celebrity at all, but like what I define as local celebrity, by having fans, I'd bump into people in the street. If I'd go out on a night out, I'd bump into them. I wouldn't know them, but they would know me, and they'd actually feel like they have like an emotional connection with me, which is what I would define as like a fan, is someone I don't know that has an emotional connection with me because of what they consumed online. So I'd built up that little following locally. As soon as then I did invest a lot into like mentorships, business mentorships and stuff, and masterminds to really figure this thing out and take it to the next level. And that's when I realized, looking back in hindsight, because hindsight's a beautiful thing, that the way I played it, by not trying to play it, was actually the best thing I could have done. Because I built up this really organic, genuine audience that just wanted to follow me and bought into me and my why and trusted me. And then the moment I just wrapped on a little bit of really showing my expertise, which was adding in the educational type content, people were just like, yeah, take my money. I know you, I trust you, I'd love to work with you. I want this result, and there's no better person I can think of working with. That is literally how it went for me. And then it went, because the demand was there, I was like, right, we need to bring in more coaches. I need to train these coaches up, teach them everything I know, deliver it to them. And we would just, the amount of people we could work with was crazy, and the results we were getting were crazy. The testimonials were flying in, the reviews were flying in, and the business skyrocketed. So yeah, we absolutely dominated our area, like became known for the best place to go for results. We were known as not being cheap as well, like we priced ourselves premium, and things just went on from there and snowballed. So yeah, and word of mouth helped. But bringing it back to what you can do, right? The whole point of this video is, I think so many people are obsessed, especially coaches, as you can tell from that poll, that they voted on, they think educational content is what you need to do. If you can prove that you know everything inside out, that's all that matters. Well, I hate to break it to you, information is not the scarce resource anymore, right? We live in a world now where AI is becoming, taking over intelligence, basically making intelligence almost meaningless. So information is not the problem, right? People have the information at their fingertips now, and the more trust that goes up with AI, like the better AI becomes, the more people are going to genuinely just go to AI for their information and trust it. So what makes coaches valuable is still you being human, and it's them having a connection with you. So if you don't showcase your journey, and then the question comes, you're probably thinking it now, what journey do I show? If I'm not a bodybuilder, if I'm not a competitor, what journey do I show? One of the best journeys I shown and showcased was when I stopped competing. So in 2021, I decided to stop competing. I wanted to close that chapter, close that page, and move on to a new chapter, which was all about PB Academy. It was about growing the coaching brand to, instead of focusing on myself, which is literally the story I told all the time, instead of giving everything I know to myself to become the best bodybuilder I can be, I wanted to now focus all my attention on giving it to as many people as possible, because so many people are still out of shape, not getting results, and I know this works if you apply it well. So that is what I went and did, and that is the journey I documented. I documented all the events that we were doing. I documented the reasons why I was doing it, because I was on this mission to change the industry completely. I was fed up. I had the enemy of poor coaching, of people that had given terrible coaching advice and terrible, being terrible coaches, giving a terrible service and a terrible experience to people. That was my enemy, and I was going out there on a mission to attack and change the industry. So if you're asking what journey to show, just showcase, if you're not showing your own fitness journey, showcase the journey of you and your mission with why you're a coach. Like, why does this matter to you? Showcase, be honest with how many clients you've got. I know this is hard for you to do because of your ego, but just be honest, because you actually, if you've only got 3 clients right now, that's actually a benefit. It genuinely is, because you can say, I'm very selective with who I work with because I want to deliver the best service. I literally only working with 3 clients right now. And yes, I want to help more people, but I want to do this very slowly so I can give my full attention to everyone. So I've got one more space that I'm opening up, and I don't want to take any more. As long as you're being honest and be transparent with whatever you could handle, that's what I would do. And I would document that journey. And as you grow, as you build up, you can document the fact that you've built out these processes, these systems, the way the things work. And it's now allowed you to be able to work with more people, and you can help more people. Like, why are you on this mission? If the mission is so clear and the vision you've got for what you're doing, then people will trust you and they'll buy into it. So if I was you, every other post should be one or the other. It should be, if you split it into 50-50, one should have some sort of value that's going to be able to, solve a small little problem that someone can actually apply from the video they watch, and make a change in their life to see a benefit and see a short-term result. And then the other content should be about you. It should be about your journey, what you're doing, what mission you're on, and the things you can talk about from there are endless. If I was you, I would just split it like that. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope you like this type of content. It's a bit of a different one today. Usually, I don't even know. It's always about growing a service business online. So if you are trying to do that, make sure you subscribe. And yes, I will see you soon.